For years, I've been planning my projects completely backwards. 2024 is the year that I not only make projects that I love to knit, but also that I love to wear. Hey everyone, it's Natalie, also known as Knitty Natty. Welcome to a very rainy New Orleans. It looks very dark outside, but it is actually only 2:53. The sun doesn't set for another hour and a half at least. We are getting thunderstorms and rain off and on, so you might hear a little bit of that in the background. I have been looking at planning my projects for a couple of weeks now. Yesterday, I got the urge to do it. I sat down, I spent a ton of time on Ravelry, planning through everything, and I'm really excited to share it with you. I've been thinking a lot about how I decide what to knit. Like, what is the catalyst that causes me to choose a yarn or a pattern and then to end up making something? And I've identified two sort of roadblocks in the way that I plan. Issue number one, the colorway or even the pattern is what leads me to make something. I am a sucker for beautiful colorways. I don't think I will ever stop buying beautiful yarns because they're just beautiful and they're named something fun, but I often find that I've purchased a yarn and then I'm trying to figure out what to do with it rather than the other way around. Same goes with popular patterns. I love make-alongs. I love making things along with everybody, but sometimes that leads me to kind of getting myself stuck into a project that I actually didn't want to use in the first place. Issue number two is I feel like I'm always knitting a season behind. It is so easy to just want to make whatever is going on in that current season. If it's cold outside, I'm knitting things for cold weather. I'm making sweaters, I'm making hats, I'm making gloves. If it is hot outside, I want to make a tank top. But what happens then? You're finishing up that sweater just about the time that it warms up outside. You're finishing up that tank top and then all of a sudden you get the first snow or whatever. Don't get me wrong, hand knitting and hand crocheting as a hobby is really not made for production. You don't need to be thinking that far in advance about what you're gonna do, and this may not be for everybody, but I'm really hoping that by sitting down and taking some time to identify gaps in my wardrobe, I can be a lot more intentional with my making this year. The first thing I did is I grabbed my handy dandy notebook and I just grabbed a pen and started brainstorming. And you can do this along with me if you want. There were a couple of questions that I asked myself that kind of helped me think through the process. The first was, what am I grabbing daily out of my non-hand knit wardrobe that I could replace with something that is handmade? Then the second question is, what would I make if I had unlimited yarn, time, and budget? So thinking of those things, I just started unleashing everything that I could possibly have thought of, and here is what I came up with. The first thing that I came up with is a sweatshirt-like pullover. I wear this every single day, multiple times a day, especially in the colder months, and this is something that I could be wearing a hand knit item with, but it needs to be cozy and it needs to be comfy. So those are some of the adjectives that I wrote down. Number two are cardigans. I love wearing hand knit cardigans, but the ones that I currently have aren't really fitting into my wardrobe right now. So I don't know exactly where I'm gonna go with this, like the length, color, style, but that's something that has been on my mind. Number three is t-shirt-like tops. I just want something that's easy to throw on, that I can wear multiple times a week. It isn't fussy. I can wear a regular bra with. I don't think that's too much to ask. Number four is a Christmas pullover. I want something that I can wear in December that just makes me feel festive. I don't know if it's going to be a little more glamorous, like something I can wear to nice events or dinners, not that I go to that many, or maybe I'll go for something a little more classy, simple, a cream colored texture sweater. I'm still not really sure on this one. Number five, matching hat, gloves, and scarf. I've wanted to do this for years. I love making accessories. I wear a lot of accessories, but I don't have anything that matches. All of my hats are different. All of my gloves are different. All of my cowls are different. And I just want three that go together so that I can feel like yes, I'm getting to wear my hand knit items, but I'm looking very put together as well. And number 5, a cream colored or light colored texture pullover. I will explain this more as we get into patterns in the next little bit, but there is a specific type of kind of all over lacy textured pullover that I can just imagine throwing on over a tank top or something on a summer day. Now we're getting into the really fun part, which is patterns. And I am not set on planning out my whole year of knitting today. I like to keep it really flexible, kind of use this as sort of a mood board brainstorming sort of situation. And that way I can, when I'm ready to get to knitting these things, I can kind of pick something based on my current mood at the time, but still within the plans that I have for things that I know I will actually wear. So I'm going to be throwing a ton of patterns at you, but I've got all of them linked down below, and I also put them all into a Ravelry bundle so that I can, again, save them as my own kind of personal mood board to make sure that I can go back and, add things to it as new things come up. If you want to do the same, it's really easy to do. When you're in your Ravelry projects tab, just go up to the top and hit favorites, then add a bundle, and then you can name it whatever you want. I named mine Intentional Wardrobe 2024. Before I start sharing the patterns too, I just want to say that all of the patterns that I have listed for garments have a bust of at least 60 inches. It's really important for me that I am knitting patterns that are size inclusive so that not only can I make them, but hopefully everyone else can make them too. For a lot of these designers, I haven't vetted every single one of their patterns, but I did make sure that the ones that I chose were available in a bust size of at least 60. A lot of them have sizes even beyond that as well. So let's get into the first one. So I wanted to start with patterns that I already knew which ones I wanted to use. Like I already have an idea, I'm pretty set on these. So let's just start at the top with the sweatshirt. So here's the sweatshirt that I'm looking to replace. It is a crop sweatshirt, it's a boxy fit, and it has a hood. I want my knitwear piece to be the same. I want it to be cozy and comfy. I don't want it to feel like, even though I do like a woolier wool at some points in time, I want this to be really, really soft. So this is why I have in mind the Second Avenue sweatshirt by Brianna Lupino. It's made out of a boucle, super soft, super scrunchy. It's cropped, it's got a hood option if you want it, slouchy, comfy, and I can just see myself throwing this on any type of day, especially a day like today where it's rainy and cozy outside, and I just absolutely love it. The other thing that I already had in mind, and I've been planning this since Rhinebeck this year, is my matching set. So this is my current set of items that I'm wearing. Oh, they smell like a fire still, which is amazing. So I've got a pair of gloves. These are not actually hand knit. I got these from the American Made Alpaca booth at Rhinebeck this past October 2023. It's alpaca yarn from their farm, and I maybe blended with something else, I'm not sure, but they are machine knit, which is totally fine with me. I actually don't really love making gloves. They're kind of tedious, but they are very nice to wear. So I bought these, and then I bought a couple of skeins of sport weight alpaca yarn from the same vendor in the same colorway. This color is called Fawn. My plan is to make a hat and a cowl or infinity scarf to match, and the gloves are already done. Isn't that great? So I guess it's not really a handmade wardrobe at that point for the gloves, but similar. Now for the hat, I absolutely love a Musselburgh hat. This is the Musselburgh by Isolde Teague. This is the one I'm currently wearing. I just have one here with me in the van because that suits all of my needs perfectly fine. We haven't had a scenario yet where I have two heads to need two hats, or, one's dirty and whatever. So this has been totally fine. But I think it will be nice to replace it. So I've actually started already on this Musselburgh hat. I decided to pause because I am getting another skein of this yarn. Then I'll have 3 skeins in total. I only need one for the hat, but the 2 that I already purchased, I want to keep together for my scarf. So they're the same, in case there's any dye lots, they're the same. And then I'll start the hat with the new skein of yarn that I got. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm kind of paused on that for now, but I did start it the other day. Then for the scarf, I'm still not totally sure, but I really love this scarf that I made. It is the Traveler's Loop by Dawn Barker. It's actually 2 yarns. Mine are really similar. They're a gray and a blue, so they kind of blend together like a silvery gray. And this is all garter stitch in the round, which means you're knitting and purling, and it is helically knit. I did this in a class, or I started it in a class with Dawn Barker about helical knitting. I just really like the way that this drapes and everything, but it is a single ply fingering weight. So the alpaca yarn I'm working with is a sport weight yarn, so it'll be a little bit different, but I like the size of this. I like that it's long enough that I can actually loop it around 3 times around my neck and it scrunches up really nice. Or if it's a little warmer and I don't need it to be, tucked up quite as much, I can just do, oh, hold on. I don't want to put it on because of my microphone, but I can loop it up like that, just where it's looped twice, and then it hangs down a little further, but still keeps me kind of warm. So I really like that about it. So I might be kind of looking into something like this where it's just a flowy garter stitch texture. Because my gloves and hat are going to be stockinette, I want something simple for the scarf. I want them all to be very cohesive and go together really nicely. That's all I have more solidly planned for now, but I did a ton of brainstorming yesterday on Ravelry. I probably spent an hour browsing through Ravelry, finding different patterns, looking through different things. And again, just every time I find a pattern, because I created that bundle, I just click save and then I can add it to the bundle and they're all in one place for me. So I started with cardigans. I'm thinking I want a lightweight cardigan, so something that's maybe in fingering weight, has a little bit of a flowier fabric, maybe has some lace on it, and then also a heavier weight cardigan, something that's maybe in DK, has a little bit of texture, maybe it's a little more fitted and cropped, a little more styled. So I don't know exactly when I'm going to do these yet. We'll get to that in the next part, but I'm just kind of playing around for the moment, which is really fun. So here are all the patterns that I found, and again, they'll be down below and also in my bundle. The first one is Irish Gold by Joji Locatelli. I just think it looks really classic, really simple, has just these little eyelets going through it, and I think it would make a great lightweight cardigan. Then there is Straya by Andrea Mowry. This is something that's been in my favorites for a while. You use a solid color and then a color of spin cycle or color changing yarn, and it just looks really fun and really interesting, has a lot of texture to it. It's kind of a medium weight, maybe not quite lightweight, not quite heavyweight. I think it would be a good basic. Next up is Mema by Megan Nodecker. I've also had this one in my favorites for a while. And that was something else that I was able to do, is I was searching in the pattern page, but then also going back to my, previously saved favorites and looking through them too. So this one's really great. It's just an all over texture. It does have elbow length sleeves, which I think I would lengthen, but that's a really easy fix to make. And then I have some heavier weight ones. This one is really beautiful. This was actually the first one that I favorited in my search for cardigans. This is called Forest Finds by Jennifer L. Peracini, I think is how you say her name. It is a DK weight sweater, and it has, you can do like a zipper or a button band. I'm really looking for something that I don't have to do any sort of finishing to, because I just like to kind of wear my cardigans open, but maybe it would be nice if I can button it up a little bit. Then the Boxy Raglan cardigan by Joji Locatelli. I have a couple of Joji Locatelli cardigans that, again, I love them, but they're kind of not fitting into my wardrobe right now. They're not exactly my current style, or maybe I'm just seeking out a new style right now, but her more current patterns are kind of fitting into that, and I know that her patterns fit me really well. So I have 2 Joji ones here. This one has bold stripes on it. It's made out of this fuzzy, I don't know if it's a boucle or just like a fuzzy yarn by Moondrake, and it's really fun and really classic, and I think it would be a very fun throw-on cardigan, something really cozy and easy to wear. Last one here, let me pull it up, is Ropes and Twines by Joji Locatelli. If you've been here for a little while, you know that I've always wanted to make All of the Lights by Joji Locatelli, which is an all-over cable cardigan that's really nice and long. This one I feel like is my happy medium. It is a shorter cardigan, all over cables still, but it fits that kind of, doesn't close in the front, just a casual throw-on sort of cardigan, still has the speckled yarn. So this may be my happy medium for right now, until I can finally get myself to pick a yarn for All of the Lights. Ken's just gone outside to go to the bathhouse and there is a snake outside that we're keeping an eye on because we don't want to like spook it when we go outside. Anyway, super creepy in the bayou. We also saw 2 alligators today, which was very interesting. And Toaster's right here with me. I don't think you can see him. Maybe you can just see his bottom, but he's taking up the entire seat and I'm sitting on the edge. All right, so the next thing I started looking at is t-shirt tops. I only have a couple of these. If you have any suggestions for any of these categories, please share. Also, please share what you're thinking about making for your wardrobe this year. I would love to hear that. So the first one is the Cozy Classic Raglan by Jessie Made Designs. Let me open this up real quick. I forgot what weight this one is in. This one is fingering plus lace, so it's like a DK weight. I think it's held with mohair maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with these bases. They're from Ritual Dyes, but I just think it looks like a really nice, classic, simple pullover sweater. It's a long sleeve, but I was thinking I could pretty easily make it short sleeved if I wanted to just do a basic t-shirt. So I feel like this is a really great move. Then the other one that I was thinking about is the Twisted T-shirt by Brianna Lapino. I should have opened these up first. Hold on just a sec. Open them up here on my computer. It is kind of a similar thing. It's got a really simple silhouette. It is a t-shirt. The fun thing about this one is it has twisted stitches. It has a different color on the neck and the bottom band and on the sleeves, and it just has a really pretty raglan to it. Again, cropped, kind of comfy fit, and by my friend and one of my favorite designers, Brianna Lapino. So I think that this could be a really great one to add to my wardrobe. Something that's great about these fingering weight tops is you can get like a handful of skeins of yarn and make a quick t-shirt, which is kind of a fun knit. It's kind of a great like out and about knitting once you're on the body and all of that too. So I kind of consider these as something that will be, you know, just an easy project that I can have on the go throughout the year. As far as Christmas sweaters go, I have 3 that I'm considering following it into the classic kind of thing. They're textured. I'm imagining them in either a white or a cream or some kind of light color, maybe a green for Christmas. I'm not really a huge red person, but maybe I could fall into red if it's like more of a softer color. And then I have one that's like a showstopper kind of thing, not your everyday sort of sweater, something that you may want to wear to an event. But again, I'm open to seeing more patterns if you have them. So the first one I found is another Joji Locatelli pattern. This one is called Solaire. It's got these really pretty cables in kind of a circular yoke. I think it's circular, and it just looks like a nice, something I could wear all throughout December, all throughout January, and just be a great winter sweater. Then I found the Lorinda Yoke sweater by Jen Peck. This one is really beautiful as well. It's got baubles all the way across, little textured stitches, and then the entire body and sleeves are all textured. Again, I could see it in a solid color. I think that would look really, really nice. The last one is my only crochet item on here. This is such a beautiful sweater. It is called Sensit, I think is how you say it. The Sensit sweater by Linda Skuja. And it is a crochet pattern, Aran weight. It's got these like, I don't even know what they are. Like, they're so cool. The texture is so amazing, but it kind of zigs and zags across. Apparently, this is a pattern that came out maybe a handful of years ago and has since been re-released with more notes, more sizes, etc. So I am very excited about this one, and you may know that I've tried crochet garments a handful of times, and I haven't always loved how they have come out for me personally. I think I'm still learning, so this may be a really good challenge for me at the end of the year. Okay, one last Christmas sweater. This one is called the Cloud Gazing Sweater by the Crimson Stitchery. It is 2-colored. I think it's just 2 colors. Yeah, 2 colors, and it has this insane textured kind of openy stitch all over. Big pillowy sleeves. I don't remember what those are called. Cropped, and I just think it looks really fun. I could see it in like green and white, maybe red and white, although that may be a little too bold. But using like 2 colors together, I think it could be a really fun piece to wear at Christmas time. We've moved slightly because Toaster has decided to lay on his spot, so I got to actually sit all the way on the bench here. All right, one less category is the textured pullover that I want to make. There is one specifically that I have been following this designer. I love their stuff. It's so, so beautiful, highly intricate. Seems like it would be a super fun knit, but also just something that would be very interesting to wear as a summer layering piece. I never thought I would say that because growing up in Tennessee, then living in Texas, I never really understood the need for a summer sweater. You really don't need one of those when you live in a hot place where it's like 100 degrees or in the 90s still, even at night. But traveling around and then also living in New York, I know that there are places where it actually cools off at night and can get cool in the summer evenings. And it'd be nice to have a breezy sort of sweater as a layering piece. So that's kind of what I'm thinking for this. I don't know if it will be wool or cotton or what, or maybe a blend, or maybe just wool, because wool is still great even when it's warm. But these are the two options that I'm thinking about. So the first one is the Helix pullover. This is not the one that I've been like really keeping my eyes on, but I wanted to have some different options, you know. So the Helix pullover is from Jessie Made Designs. It is sport weight yarn, very lacy all over lace piece, loose fitting, great layering piece. I think it would be a really awesome one. You could also put on a tank top underneath it to give yourself, you know, a little more warmth and wear it as just kind of an everyday sweater too. And then the one I've been really eyeing, the one I think I'm going to make because it's just so cool, is the Salty Days sweater by Veronica Lindberg. Look through her designs. She has some really fun ones. Some of her older ones don't have the larger sizes like her newer ones do. So just keep that in mind. Keep an eye on her newer patterns. She's definitely gone more like size inclusive in the more recent years. So to keep an eye out for that. But I really, really like this one. Just the texture all over it. I guess in a sense, I'm kind of looking at that fisherman sweater sort of thing. Although I know this isn't really a fisherman sweater because those are much more heavy and densely knitted. This is more like the fisherman who doesn't actually fish, who just wants to be out on the beach and hanging out and having dinner. That's very much what I want to do. So I'm very, very keen to make this one, and I think it is super beautiful and can't wait. As much fun as it was to just write down all of my dreams for patterns this year and look at patterns online and all of that, I just knew I had to walk away with a more solid plan or none of this was actually going to happen. So looking realistically at things, I know in the back of my mind that I can't do all of this year. So I'm just going to take one thing at a time and pick one of these items to do per season. Since we're in winter right now, we're going to start right there. And I've already started one of these things. I've already started, even though I'm going to restart when I get my other yarn, which will be in just a couple of days. I've already started my Musselburgh hat. So my plan for winter, which I'm considering December to the end of February, is to work on my matching set. That means I've already got the gloves. So I want to work on the hat and then the scarf. And I realized that I probably will be finishing this up around the time that I am not really going to need it in March as much, but I do want to have this finished so that I can use it a little bit, especially when we're in higher elevations and it is really chilly. And then I will also have it for later in the year because we're doing a lot of things outdoors, and I think this will be a really useful item for me to have in my wardrobe. Moving on to the spring, I am going to be making a t-shirt tank top, or not tank top, sorry, t-shirt, lightweight top, something. Again, I don't know which yet. I'm starting to add to my items, so just give me more pattern ideas if you have them. I'll add them to my intentional wardrobe bundle. In the summer, I want to go ahead and make that sweatshirt. I really want it right this second. Like I want it right now. I want to start on it, but I know realistically that I don't have the yarn yet. If I wait for the yarn and then I get it started and then whatnot, it's going to be a while before I really get to it. I have other projects that I'm wanting to work on right this second. So I'm going to wait until summer, do that sweatshirt, and then I will have it for all of the fall months, all of the winter months, and it will be hopefully just bringing me so much joy to get to wear a hand knitted hoodie every single day. And then finally, for the fall, I want to make my Christmas pullover. I've wanted to do this for years, like years and years. More than 5 years, I've wanted to have a Christmas sweater by Christmas. So if I work on it in the fall, which I'm considering, I think September to November, I should have it done in time to wear for Christmas. I feel like this plan is reasonable and will help me achieve my goals, working ahead of the seasons, finishing those different items, while still leaving me lots of space to work on other projects. Now, do I secretly hope that I will get everything on that list, or at least more things on that list checked off in between? I totally do, but realistically, that's probably not going to happen. I think I will be doing really, really well to get those 4 items off of my list for this year. With that, I am off to do some knitting and maybe shop for some yarn. I'm really excited to get going on these projects this year. I hope you enjoyed this episode and it may have inspired you to work on some of your, patterns that have been on your list for a while, or look at your wardrobe and see, what things do you love? Which of your knitted items or non-knitted items are you already wearing? And maybe you could use another one. Don't forget to use what you already have in your closet to help inspire you to make more. Please share what you are working on down below, or maybe tell me some of the patterns that you have on your list to make this year for your handmade wardrobe. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!